around.
Y'all tell anybody I kill you! I kill you!
The biggest crackhead in the town.
Peanut butter and crackling.
He kicked his habit back in the joint. Now he's out on point.
Here I come!
He's finally home. He's Tyrone.
Hell yeah, baby. That's right. You know it. Tyrone Biggins, you are my hero. Johnny, hey, did you grow your hair out?
A little bit, yeah.
Wow. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. Jesus Christ. It's been so long. Johnny's hair, he grows hair like 6 inches longer. I'm just joking. Hey, it's good to see Johnny Fuent. Who cares about announcing the bleeding edge or whatever or whatnot or doing an intro? Johnny Fuent, welcome back, brother.
Good to be back.
How you been, man?
Pretty good. Like, as you guys can see, new apartment, so that's pretty cool.
You went to fucking Alaska?
Huh? Yeah, from Alaska.
Are you still in Alaska?
No, I'm in Virginia.
Oh, that's right. You're in Virginia. Well, you know what? We talked about that before. I like the state of Virginia from the little bit that I know about it. And people from Virginia I've met are good people. So,
Oh yeah, so far everyone's really friendly.
yeah. No, are people friendly like I told you? Like
Yep.
out in public and whatnot, everything? People smile at you and everything and all that stuff?
Less
Make small
smiling.
talk. Yeah, no, it's just that whole vibe in that whole area of the country, the Carolinas and Virginia and whatnot, in Tennessee is a lot warmer than down here where I live, for instance. People are a lot nicer than they are in, like, say, New York City. But anyways, there are other people here besides Johnny Fuent, of course. I myself am Jeff S, aka True Knowledge, that I'm now hashtagging before I do it now because I'm like really upgrading my game here. I figured out that I can add a hashtag before in my shit. Isn't that dope? Anyways, this is MCU'S YouTube channel and podcast, of course. DC animated film reviews, baby. What's up with that? Grant Morrison, bitch. What's up? After this shit, I'm gonna have to go buy the 12 comic book run, probably, and read that shit because this is a great movie. Cyberneticshark, welcome back, brother. Thank you. You owe me $77.75 for using my Bacta tank to get rid of your flu or whatever and whatnot.
You're sand dollars. You need sand dollars.
Oh, and you're still coughing a little bit? Oh, okay. I guess you're gonna try to like lowball me now on that 75. So I got you. That's all right. No, it's all right. But anyways, like your hat, sir. Andre's the pop culture guy. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. Excited to talk about this movie.
Did you change up your thing to the pop culture guy Andre's actor, or has that always been like that?
No, I changed it. It's the Superman poster.
Ah, I knew it. I just had to make sure that I wasn't tripping because I was like, wait a minute, that does not look how it usually looks.
No. I changed it because this is another panel from the Grant Morrison's run.
Okay.
Besides the one that Cyber has. That's for the movie.
Well, folks, I just want to really quick say that before I plug anything or worry about anything like that, just that we do welcome you, the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. We welcome all of you on all the different platforms we're on: Rumble, Twitter Live, our new Facebook page, which please feel free to share and tell your friends about whatnot and everything. Right? We need to build that bitch back up. I'm working on it. Twitch, I mean, who am I forgetting here? Oh, YouTube, Facebook Live in general, right? And pretty soon, every fucking platform pretty much out there. At some point here soon, so we'll have to see. It's going to get interesting. For one thing, you can find us on Roku as of next week. Our live streams will be on Roku on our Roku app. So how about that, folks? You can check us out on the TV. It'll be dope. But I just want to thank Johnny Fuent for coming on. I want to thank Andres for coming on and supporting me and everything and whatnot and everything and backing me. Thanks for being back, Cyber. I know you're not feeling well still. Grant Morrison, I don't know his work. I don't. I'm not going to lie about it, right? I'm going to try to get into it. But you're here for that, right? Like I needed somebody here that would be able to actually talk about, some of that aspect and whatnot. Everything. The animated film is awesome, I thought. Now we could disagree or agree with that between the four of us, right? And you out here that watch this, this video or whatever and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't just because the All-Star Superman title seemed so simple to me. I was like, wait a minute, is this going to be some cheesy bullshit? crap or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? For a minute, and whatnot. I did think that. I won't lie, folks. I'm not going to bullshit you. It just seemed too simple for me for Superman. But they fooled me with that shit. And no, it's one of them things where, as usual, folks, you know, we have a good time doing these. I know Andres does. I know Johnny does. Cyber, I know you enjoy doing the DC animated film reviews. I certainly do. So we hope you enjoy what we do, what we doing. And if we don't, then let us know, and we'll try to improve our shit, or we'll tell you to go fuck off. Either way, at the end of the show, make sure that you write down and track down and go subscribe and follow Johnny Fuent and Andre on all his 17 different podcasts and YouTube channels and whatnot, and Cyberneticshark. In the meantime, let's get after it. Let's fucking grind this bitch out and do it up. Support the MCU'S Bleeding Edge. Decide if you want to subscribe once you ring that bell and you actually catch one of our shows. Until you ain't seen our shit, don't worry about what other people say about us. You need to see it yourself, right? Then you judge. Then if you want to subscribe, you subscribe. We earn our shit. Anyways, I'm actually going to change things up a little bit, and I'm actually going to read a basic Wikipedia synopsis of the plot. It's very simple. It doesn't tell you really all that much, really. Just to sort of, I guess, change things up a little bit for my, how I want to moderate a little bit with the DC animated films. This movie, I think, is only an hour and 13 minutes long. Hour and 15, something like that. Very tight, as usual. Johnny, would you say that's a pretty much like the mark for them? At least at this point in like where they're at with DC animated films, is that pretty much that's that sweet spot for them, is like that hour to 5 to like hour to 20-minute mark in between there?
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to the DC animated stuff, they rarely even go beyond 2 hours, if that. They usually, I don't think any of them have even gone to the hour and a half mark. They just go ahead, tell the story, and be done with it.
I can't remember. Wasn't there one that did?
Not that comes to my knowledge.
In terms of long hour, I think it was either.
I thought Batman Under the Red Hood or whatever got close to 1:30.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
No, it was still 1 hour.
Okay, either way, let me read this plot synopsis, and then we'll just rock up into the anime, and we'll go in and break down the film. So, just to give you guys a depiction, and I'll play the trailer too. It's very short, like usual. As far as the plot goes, Dr. Leo Quintum and his team are exploring the sun when they are sabotaged by a booby-trapped, genetically enhanced time bomb clone made by Lex Luthor. Superman stops the clone, but in doing so, receives an overdose of solar radiation. It has given him increased powers, but it is slowly killing him. Luthor is arrested thanks to Clark Kent's article and sentenced to death. Wanting to spend as much time as possible with Lois Lane, Superman reveals to her that he is Clark Kent and takes her to the Fortress of Solitude. During this visit, Superman's secretive behavior and her indirect exposure to alien chemicals heightens her indirect exposure to alien chemicals heightens Lois's paranoia. Superman is able to calm her, explaining his caginess was to hide her birthday present, a serum granting her superpowers for 24 hours, which of course plays on later on. But now a superwoman, she and Superman stop an attack by Subterraneosauri, led by Krull and Metropolis, just as Samson and Atlas arrive. After the Subterraneosauri, am I saying that correctly? Yeah? Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, it's correct.
Our return to the center of Earth, Samson flirts with Lois and gives her a necklace, the crown jewels of the Ultra Space. When Superman tells him to back off, he challenges Superman to contest to win Lois. After the contest, Superman finally defeats Atlas and Samson in a double arm wrestling match before spending the rest of the day with Lois as her powers fade. Later, Clark tells Lois he is dying before leaving to take the city of Kandor to a new planet to thrive, despite it being permanently shrunk, of course, by Brainiac. As he does not believe he will survive the trip back, Clark leaves with Lois, promising to wait for his return. 2 months later, Superman returns, crash lands to find Metropolis has been repaired with Kryptonian architecture, and that Earth has been protected by Bar-El and Lilo, lost astronauts from Krypton. They followed the trail of the vessel that brought Superman to Earth. To his dismay, the two have less altruistic goals and intend to turn Earth into a new Krypton. What the fuck's his name? As they fight Superman, Bar-El and Lilo begin showing signs of illness from kryptonite that they were exposed to from passing through Krypton's remains. At their request, Superman places the two in the Phantom Zone until a cure can be found. Unbeknownst to anyone, Luthor reprogrammed one of the Fortress's robots to steal the serum Superman made for Lois's birthday. Having the powers of Superman, Luthor's death by electric chair failed, and he escapes unfettered. Superman learns that Luthor's secret ally, Solaris, has betrayed him by turning Earth's sun blue. With his robot, Superman engages Solaris in space. However, all seems lost until Superman's pet Sun Eater sacrifices itself to weaken Solaris, which allows Superman to destroy it. Clark returns to the Daily Planet, very ill, and collapses upon completing his article, Superman Dead. When the staff tries to save him, they realize that he has stopped breathing and his heart has stopped. But before they can do anything to help Clark, the superpowered Lex Luthor arrives and attempts to kill Lois. Clark revives and fires a gravity gun at Luthor. As his powers fade, Luthor briefly sees the world as Superman does and weeps as he gains a measure of understanding. Luthor wishes the experience to continue, but when he reaches for his next vial of serum, he realizes that Superman has stolen his supply. Superman then destroys the serum over Luthor's protests, pointing out that if Luthor truly cared about solving the world's problems, he would have done so long ago. Luthor solemnly admits Superman is right. With Superman's body starting to turn into pure energy, he proclaims his love for Lois and gives her his cape as a way to remember him before he leaves and flies into the sun, seemingly, sacrificing himself to save the Earth. Later, Jimmy Olsen invites Lois to attend a memorial service being held for Superman. Lois does not go as she believes that Superman is not dead and will return after he repairs the sun. Quintum visits Luthor in his cell, now enlightened from his ordeal and accepting his impending death. Luthor presents Quintum with the only thing that could redeem him from his actions, a formula to recreate Superman's genetic structure through a healthy human ovum. Wow, that I did not even grasp there at the end. Okay, interesting. So, based off that, I'll go to you, Johnny Fuent. The film is, I believe, is really good overall from start to finish. It's sort of, I guess, in a way, your prototypical Superman sort of, trope. All the characters are there, for the Daily Planet and everything and whatnot and all that. And you got Lois there. I don't know. You tell me. Does this, about the Grant Morrison comic book run? Obviously, it's more expansive than what that was in this movie, right?
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed this. I did. You know what I'm saying? And again, just based off what I know, I thought it was great. For a lot of reasons, and I'll talk about them later. But was this considered, or do you know? And Andres, you can tackle this afterwards. Was this considered like a fitting depiction that represented? I guess, I from what I understand from my research, the Grant Morrison run here with this Superman, Superman is like some masterpiece level shit.
It was a great comic run, and I mean, honestly, Grant Morrison does really well when he knows there's an end, because I mean that's the whole point of this run, showing that hey, Superman is going to pass, and this is exactly what we're gonna do. So he kind of had that nice little, okay, this is exactly the story I want to do, instead of having, oh, we're renewing the story. But yeah, no, this actually just took away the outer shell and stuff to basically what All-Star Superman was all about. I mean, like I said before, these animated films don't go over an hour and a half, so you just have to take the bits and pieces. Did they leave stuff out? Sure. Was it important or integral to the story? I wouldn't say so. A lot of fluff, but honestly, it would have just added too much to the unnecessary bits.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was shocked at how faithful this Ammunition movie was to the comic. Like, it got every shot that I recognized from this run. Like, the one towards the end when Superman was making his journal in that big, book he was doing, that was like straight out of from the Grant Morrison's run. I was surprised. Or, the two Crotonians coming from, the spaceship and whatnot, that's from later in the run of Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. So yeah, I mean, this packed a lot of like the crucial moments of what All Star Superman was about. Seeing Superman like doing like his like oh my god, like his last things to do before he passed away. Like as a lot of us do, we always want to accomplish something in our bucket list, and that's what Superman's doing. And that is always the best thing about this story is just seeing Superman doing that, before his passing. And one thing I want to give a shout out too is, unfortunately, this, the passing of Dwayne McGuffey, the writer. He's the reason this movie works. He really like crammed a lot of the storyline that you know could easily been bad, but he really grasped to the themes and the urgent and the arcs that a lot of our characters go through this movie. It's Dwayne's writing that really helps to make this movie special, which I am very grateful for them. And apparently, this movie was right after he passed, like the day that he passed. So it's really sad that he's no longer with us. And I think his writing is so incredible in this movie. His last major like DC thing is Justice League Doom, but out of the three movies he wrote, I think this is his best in the DC animation movies.
Cyberneticshark. Now I know I don't believe that either one of them. Neither one of us has read the comic book line. In general, sir, did you all? I mentioned earlier to you offhand, sort of jokingly, that the title seems so simple. All-Star Superman. I didn't know what to expect. I thought to myself, well, maybe this will be like sort of like, kind of like, maybe like a comedic, like a cheesy. I didn't mean to be disrespectful or rude or anything, but like, that's kind of what I thought. I wasn't like blown away or surprised, like shocked by how good it was. But what did you coming into the film like? I mean, did you get any? Did you know anything about it? Had you seen it before?
I remember when this came out on DVD back in 2011. I remember looking at it, going, "Oh, I should check this out eventually." But I didn't watch it until today. And I mean, the artwork itself didn't really pull me in. I'm not a big fan of this artwork look. I just don't like it. It just does not entertain me. And I think that there's a lot better stylized cartoonery out there of other Batman, Superman films that we've seen and stuff like that, and just animation in general. There's just some animations that look good, and there's some animations that don't look good. And I feel like this is one of those types. So it wasn't like a number one priority for me to watch. So, I mean, for the name, the All-Star name, that to me was like basically made me think, oh, is there going to be a whole bunch of superheroes in this film? That's what that made me first think of. Like, oh, this is going to be a ton of superheroes in this film. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, et cetera, et cetera. Who could be in this? Like, there could be a whole bunch of superheroes or supervillains as well. And so that's what first came to mind for the title of the film. But then after watching the film, now I get why they called it that, because of all the things that Clark did, throughout the span of this hour and 17-minute long film. So altogether, my first impression, I was not thinking funny, cartoony. I was thinking definitely like kind of like an all-star bash is what my first thought were.
That makes sense. I never really, I never thought about anything like that and whatnot, but that's actually makes a lot of sense logically how someone would come to that conclusion, maybe, right? And so either way, basically in terms of, I guess what you could say would be the intro. It'd probably be a good idea if I get the outline right. Hold on, let me go ahead and play the trailer so I can grab that. I've got it right here. Let me just make sure that I change the audio settings on StreamYard. I love you, StreamYard. You're the best. Thank you for helping me get all my bullshit freaked out, sequenced and straightened out and whatnot with some of your setting controls and whatnot and stuff you've added with your changes.
Superman's journal. Final entry. I'm dying. My turn. My cells are breaking down. I'm running out of time.
Welcome to the new world. Lay down your weapons if you won't be hurt.
We only have one chance to save the world. My last adventure is about to begin.
You know what happens when you take on Lex Luthor? If I die, you die first! Did you ever think that it would end like this?
Very quick. Okay, installation back on. There we go. All right, I got my outline. Sorry about that. Dodge stole it. He just figured he'd bust my balls tonight a little bit too, just like, somebody else. So, he felt bad for Andres. I've been getting after him lately and whatnot. So he figured he'd get me back for you, brother. He likes you, Andre.
No. So, see, Dodge and I have a common ground, unlike you and I.
Well, you do understand that, he does understand. He hears all the voices of people and whatnot. So I guarantee you, if he actually saw people from the show and whatnot, everything or whatever, like Cyber or whatever, or you, he would probably go right up to you and whatnot and everything and know who the fuck you are and everything. And he wouldn't know, though, but he recognized your voice immediately. He's sitting right here. He listens. I'm sure he does. What else is he going to do? So, anyways. So, no, it's unfortunate, honestly, that I'm not trying to complain at all, but I'm just saying it's sad that that they weren't able to deliver trailers that were as maybe that magnified, were magnified to the level of how good the films are in a way, what I'm saying, whatnot, right? I would, maybe a little longer. And, but again, this is, even 2011, there's been a lot of change, in the evolution and whatnot in terms of what's capable with animation and whatnot, and, quality of video and all that kind of stuff. But, so essentially, I was actually a little bit confused when the film began. We go right into the mission, with essentially, Dr. Leo Quintum exploring the sun. And that's one thing, again, that I have to give a lot of credit to, the, DC animated films and everyone involved in producing this, because this is really compact. It flows really well, and there's no boring points at all in the entire plot or the story. It's just a really fluid, fun animated DC animated film like usual. But either way, we go right into that scenario where essentially they're exploring the sun, and their mission is sabotaged by a booby-trapped, genetically enhanced clone, right? Which is he, of course, is made by Lex Luthor, who is, I guess following the timeline sort of the DC animated films, sort of working for the government, I guess, to not be in prison at that point, basically, right? And pretending to want to be do good, and basically, the clone, just kind of blows up and mutates into this huge behemoth, right? And starts killing people and shit and whatnot. I think he killed his father or something. And Superman pops up, stops the clone, but in doing so,
brother.
What's that?
The monster killed the brother that was in the ship.
Okay. While doing so, he receives an overdose of solar radiation. Which they realize is the responsible for why all of a sudden he has these increased powers and things he's able to do that he normally couldn't do. He's stronger, but it will slowly kill him. Which is, of course, was Luthor's point. That was the premise of the whole thing. Luthor, was to kill Superman. Luthor, basically ends up arrested and sentenced to death. you know, for crimes against humanity, for sabotaging the, you know, the mission to the sun. So we get our, you know, some quick kind of, I think maybe 2 scenes in the initial less than a third part of the film where we go over the Daily Planet and everything, right? And Lois is there and Jimmy's there, you know what I mean? And there's the usual banter and whatnot, right? And we get sort of like almost our, most of the time we usually get, you know, either like they go right to like the news, right? And we get like a new, you know, somebody on the news from the media, like talking to us and telling us what's going on. Instead, in this film, instead of that, it's kind of, they do that with the Daily Planet, right? They kind of like, you know, give us like sort of some context. You know, we can see some Clark Kent, you know, and all that, you know, actually being Clark Kent. And at that point, Superman, upon, you know, taking Lois to, you know, the Fortress of Solitude, before even going there, unveils his secret identity to Lois, who doesn't believe it at first, that he's Clark Kent. And, you know, she should have realized at that point that something was really fucked up. And I don't know why she didn't. That's one thing I kind of wondered about. But he gives her this tour and he shows her weapons he's confiscated. She thinks it's like fine art and whatnot. And he's like, no, these are weapons that could actually probably kill me. He shows her his sun eater pet thing that's like an alien he found that eats what, like crushed stars or whatever, or something like that.
Solar stars.
Yes. Yeah. No, that, which is really cool. It has, I don't know how to explain it really. It had like octopus arms and stuff like that and whatnot, right? And he said it was a baby, and everything. So whatever. Now he plays a key role, obviously, later on, as I mentioned earlier. But at that point, you know, he also, and this is actually something I found really interesting, and maybe, you know, Johnny, if you want to explain this a little bit about this, what I found really interesting about all these scenes at the Fortress of Solitude, before, like, you know, Lois starts to get a little paranoid about kind of how Supes is acting, was his device he had where he could communicate to his future, his future other Supermans in like in the multiverse, or were they other kryptonites? Like I didn't know.
Ancestors from the future.
Oh, okay, that's right. Ancestors from the future. Okay. Yeah. And he could communicate with them.
He's trying to. He's just like he can hear them, but he's trying to fix some bugs to make the messages clear. And you know, it's an ancestor because Lois points out that it looks like her dad.
Yes.
You don't know that kid will be, you know, Superman Lois kid.
We never really know for sure, since I mean, after it's 12 issues, so it's like one of those things. I'm just happy it didn't have that red sun ending, because that would have been depressing.
Yep.
Well, either way, I thought that was really neat. I mean, I could tell that it was only one-sided. He couldn't actually talk, really, but he was trying to figure it out. And of course, he says down the road, this is something that will help me be able to solve crimes before they happen or before they occur. You know, at that point, you know, I forget what they're called, but Supes has those sort of robots or whatever you want to call them, or like almost like droids,
Eradicators
that kind of like, you know, serve him and whatnot and everything, right? And basically Lois like either sort of like sees through a crack of a door or through a small window pane what looks to her pretty ominous, which is a picture of her, basically, right? Like an image of her, and then what looks like one of the Eradicators sort of doing this lab work and whatnot and everything, and like creating almost what looks like a clone of her or something, or like an automated version of her. And she freaks out. I thought this was really funny. I did. She freaks out and so Lois, she like starts like almost, and now this is the point I think where they're talking about in the, you know, about how she's affected by What was it, Johnny? What is she affected by? The alien
The radiation from the
radiation.
solar.
Yes, that's what causes her to start like sort of getting almost not demented, but almost like getting paranoid to the point where she starts creating these like insane possibilities as to what the hell's going on there right now. Why Clark Soups is acting different, and comes to the conclusion essentially that he's gonna use what'd she say at one point? She's gonna use him to like provide like his like Superman
Babies.
army or some shit or whatever. I don't know.
Babies.
Yes.
It was funny. It was like produce kids for him.
Yeah, so she goes and gets one of those fucking guns from the room, right? And like blasts one of the radiators or whatever, whatnot, blows him up, and like shoots Soups, right? With one of the guns that actually, I think, shot like straight like kryptonite blasts. And he just kind of shrugged it off and he was like, oh, well, I guess kryptonite doesn't bother me anymore, right? And he doesn't even seem to be minded or whatever, whatnot, and all that. He's also become very inquisitive. Due to that isn't just that he's stronger, but either way, he finally explains to her and calms her down by telling her he just had a birthday gift for her, and that's all they were trying to do. And what it ends up being is that 24-hour serum, where she can actually have the powers of Superman for 24 hours as a birthday gift. That's an awesome birthday gift, right? Now, at this point, she has not been told that he's dying. Now, I'll stop there. Cyberneticshark, sir. Any and all thoughts on that portion of the beginning of the film?
Leading up to when Lois and Superman are at his bungalow.
When Lois actually takes the serum.
Okay. So, I felt like, once again, like I said, I wasn't really into the animation for this film. I thought it was a very slow start of a film. I felt that it was a lot of just too much info to really follow along to be a animated superhero film. I thought that the beginning was fun. I liked how they, got right into it. They had him, basically, stopping that creature that Lex Luthor has created, and basically, getting right to the point. Oh, Superman's now radiated. He's basically dying. So I thought that was well done. But the whole Lois and Clark thing, all through that little section there, except for her showering, which I did like that.
Oh, you like that? What a surprise.
Yeah. And other than that, that whole section I just found very slow and not really interesting. I didn't think the dialogue was anything that great. And also for this film, the voice cast is a great cast of actors and actresses, but they do not fit the characters they were given. I'm sorry, Christina Hendricks, gorgeous woman, beautiful, love her and other things. Her as Lois Lane was horrible. Downright horrible. Couldn't stand her as the voice of Lois Lane. I just do not picture her as Lois Lane. I would prefer more of either Amy Adams or even, if Margot Kidder was, still doing voiceovers at the time, could have done it. Or, different actors. I think would have been a better choice. Because her voice to me just felt too sultry and too, not very Lois Lane-ish. So I didn't really care for her. And the guy that did the voice of Superman, he was okay, but I thought they definitely could have had better choice.
That would be James Denton.
Yeah. And I just didn't care too much for it. But I think the voice casting in this was really sucky. So that really put me out of the film too itself. But that beginning sequence, we had a really good action sequence. And then we kind of had that nonsensical kind of information scene where, basically Superman's telling, Lois that he's Clark Kent and all that stuff. It was okay, but I didn't find it really interesting. I found it kind of boring. Other than that, I thought it was okay.
Okay. Oh, now as far as the cast goes, real quick, James Denton as Kal-El, Clark Kent as Superman, Christina Hendricks as Lois Lane, Superwoman, Anthony LaPaglia. I haven't pronounced his name in a long time. LaPaglia, I'm sorry, as Lex Luthor. I thought he did okay. Edward Asner as Perry White, Frances Conroy as Martha Kent. Linda Cardellini once again as Nesfatia. Let's see, Kathy Cavadini as Floral. Steve Blum as Atlas and General Sam Lane. Oh, also Kathy Cavadini also plays Cat Grant. Oba Babatunde as the judge, and also as Bibliobot. Chris Cox as lead agent. Alexis Denisoff as Dr. Leo Quintum. John DiMaggio as Samson and Ultra Sphinx. Robin Atkin Downs as Solaris. Michael Gow as Parasite. Matthew Gray Gubler as Jimmy Olsen. Finola Hughes as Lilo. Kevin Michael Richardson as Steve Lombard and Tyranko. Fred Tetes Flory as Krull, and Arnold Vosloo as Bar-El. Now, as to Derpy, Mr. Derpy, or Miss Derpy, or Tree Derpy, whatever you go by. I'm just joking. I told you we would address you. I can agree. Lowest voice actress was weak, but this was 2011. Yeah, well, I thought she was all right. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, though. So, who wants to tackle this?
That.
Cyber, you want this one? Take it. Swallow this comment from Derpy. I don't want this shit. This is intense.
Animation will always suit me more than the comic, and DC will always have the better characters than Marvel. This Superman story is the perfect story, and I can see why it's James Gunn's favorite. Who cares?
Good answer.
Well, I can answer this professionally as a DC fan.
Good answer, Cyber.
Good one, Cyber. Yeah, I mean, I can see why Gunn likes his story. I mean, it's how do you say, this is the better. If you don't like Death of Superman, that storyline, this is a better version of Death of Superman.
Well, that's not even a question or anything. Like, that's just like a declaration. It's almost like you're trying to like inject some kind of fucking poison pill. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, I mean, we're the MCU's bleeding edge, right? Like, I fucking love Marvel and the MCU and whatnot, right? So, like, of course, if you put that up there in the comment section, you're basically like testing my nuts right there. You feel me? You know what I mean? So, like, at that point, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I mean,
that's like some Lex Luthor shit.
I mean, better characters, that's European Derby, but in terms of story, as a perfect story to see in the big live action, yeah, I think this is a perfect story to adapt for a Superman movie. I mean, this is not the only Grant Morrison that Gunn is adapting, so yeah, it makes sense he goes to Grant Morrison, I think. Now, better characters, that's a whole nother story. I mean,
it is. It's a whole other conversation for another show. And all I'm going to say is that I've always wanted to find common ground, so I'll agree with you on this one, Derpy. DC animated films are fucking awesome. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I've never seen anything like, even, I'm sorry, but even like the 90s X-Men, animated X-Men series and shit doesn't even come close to this kind of shit. It's not even close, right? It's not even in the same like dimension or level of like what these films are like. You know, it's that simple. So I'm sure you would agree with me on that. I'm always wanting to find common ground. I just don't know, you know, if you want to come on the show and mix it up with us and whatnot and chop it up and whatnot and bullshit about who has better characters, DC Comics or Marvel Comics, you let me know. We'll have the show. And we'll kick it back. But either way, though, you got to make sure but at that point, though, you got to sign a contract agreeing that you will smoke crack before you do the show. No, I'm just kidding. So basically, Andre's the pop culture guy, and I'll let you round things out, Johnny. What were your thoughts? What did you take out of you? I know you've seen this film multiple times. That first, you know, I guess, like I said, I don't know, 20% or 25% of the film that I laid out, whatnot, right before Lois actually takes the serum, and then we get that whole where things kind of take off, sort of the plot starts to pick up and whatnot, and we get more action and more. The pace kind of picks up a little faster. I mean, you know, what do you have to say about it? Anything you want to point out? Anything that hasn't been mentioned already?
Well, I mean, I can see why it was kind of like the downer of the movie, where it's like, okay, we gotta have exposition, we gotta have Lois reveal himself, Clark reveal himself to Lois. But I mean, once you get towards the ending, you see why this part was important, even though you were probably asking yourself, why is this even in here? But it all comes together. And honestly, like I was saying, it's actually one of the better DC animated films, especially for the time. And honestly, it's a lot better than what we're getting now.
Yeah, you know what? I don't want to hear that really. I'll be honest with you, Johnny. Every time I hear stuff like that, well, not everything, it makes me feel bad because I like that. I don't want to be scared when we get to the end of like when we start to get through when we get through all the older stuff and we get to the newer stuff. I don't want to come in pessimistic and be like, oh man.
Trust
Everybody-
me, until you have watched Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham, that I gotta say was the worst DC film animated.
Ooh, Johnny, after the show, listen, stick around for the studio for a minute. I bought a bunch of DC comics. I'll show them to you. I bought a bunch of new shit, some of their new titles. I'll show them to you. They're nice. I wanted to support Kendra and stuff that she's reviewing and whatnot and everything. You haven't met Kendra yet, but it's stuff that she's reviewing. Some titles and whatnot and everything. So I just bought a bunch of them. I think I'm gonna start actually collecting again. But anyways, either way, Andre's a pop culture guy. Believe it or not, sir, I let you go last instead of first. Right? Just like I would if we were running the train, baby. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm the last now.
Yeah.
Return of 60-minute man.
Yeah. No, please, no 6-minute man. It's over. We're done. I'm doomed.
Now 61 and a half.
No. Oh my god. I didn't even
I'm telling you right now, I am a 60-minute man sometimes in like my private bedroom life. And like sometimes that shit sounds all good and great and everything and whatnot, but it's really not. To be honest with you, it's really frustrating sometimes. It's fucking taxing and tiring. But either way, Andre,
the opening is very good. I mean, Johnny kind of brought up the expedition. I mean, it's a good expedition of explain what the plot is going to be, and I sort of like it. I mean, it's better than what we got from Justice League. What was it our last DC one, Superman and Batman Apocalypse? Whew, that was horrible. So I thought this one did a good job of handling the expedition. Plus, I think it was really cool to see the Fortress of Solitude and see the very cool comic book nods, like the key. Like when I saw the key, I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Instead of make it bigger, but then when they having the conversation about the key, it was very funny that the key is heavier, and like the reason he switched to the small key was to be more protective, and that was like such a genius. Like one of the things I like about Grant Morrison as the writer is that he really embraced the like goofy like Silver Age comic books back in the 50s and 60s, and like tried to like not like I don't like what writers do, like modernize it. Like he tries to put it in a very like respectful way into the 20th century, and that's something I really like about this movie. That they really capture the sense of the Silver Age of Superman back in the 50s and 60s with the Fortress side too, and you know the characters and all that. But yeah, I agree with Cyber, but Lois, I think she is the weakest actress. Same thing with Derby. I mean, a very weak voice actress, but not as bad. I think I feel like I don't know, like I think they should have brought back the Superman, some of the Superman animated series actors like Tim Daly, Andrea, and Clancy Brown. Like I don't know why did we have to have these other actors. It just kind of is weird. I like the Lex voice more. I think he was the best out of the cast. So, but yeah, I think this first opening was good. It gets to the swing of things of this movie towards the second act.
Okay. Now, basically, Johnny, I'll tell you what, I'll toss over to you. You know this stuff by heart. You don't need an outline. What, if you want to take us to, I guess, probably like, let's see. Because there's some stuff in here that you know more about this than I do.
Are you talking about when he goes to Kandor?
What I was going to say was, if you want to go ahead and just do, on your own, just go ahead and summarize and kind of lay out, where we end up at, where essentially, there's a prison break with Luther and whatnot when he has Clark there, right? Everything, interviewing him and all that with Parasite, and
yes. Did you not want me to mention where the dinos get loose and her and Lois?
The whole thing. No, I'm saying you can jump in. Go ahead and you can. If I'll step back, and you can go ahead and lay out where we are from the minute that Lois takes the serum, right?
Okay, so Lois takes the serum, and basically what happens next is that she becomes a superwoman. So they end up going towards. Of course, they have there's some dino trouble. They go ahead and they take them back, and these two guys, and it's been a little bit since I've seen the movie, so I don't remember names, basically want basically Lois, and they basically fight with Superman, but Superman's stronger, and they basically have an arm wrestling contest, and Superman's basically arm wrestling them at the same time. And it's actually kind of funny to see that they're super struggling, and Superman at this point is just brushing it off, and he beats them. He basically explains after all that he is dying and that he wants to go to Kandor, but he doesn't know if he's going to survive the trip back. So he goes to Kandor, and of course, 2 months later, you have the two Kryptonians that come in. They want to make Earth the new Krypton. Superman comes back, and he basically ends up trying to fight them. But they find out that they have a disease because, of course, while they were flying out, they were surrounded by so many debris of Krypton. And, of course, they were exposed to a lot of kryptonite. So they ask for Superman to put them in the Phantom Zone until a cure can be made. Which, of course, one thing I love about Grant Morrison is that no matter how many endings he does, he always leaves a couple of plot threads that are never satisfied. But anyway, he sends them basically to the Phantom Zone, the whole prison break with Luthor when he's Clark Kent, when he basically shows Clark that even though he's in prison, he is never in prison, and has this entire underground labyrinth with a canoe or whatever where he makes his escape. He basically Clark uses his powers to basically help him a couple of times, but he says he's not worried, that he's Lex Luthor and all the confidence. But the disease starts to basically progress, and Superman begins to get weaker and weaker. And while everything else is happening, Luthor basically hacks one of the robots and gets him a chance to take a look at that serum that made Lois Superwoman for about 24 hours. And basically, he reverse engineers it, gains superpowers, and basically, I mean, whenever you, Andrew, did I miss anything?
No, you cut up to the whole part.
No, the only thing we did really to get into it all was when we actually had the crown jewels of the Ultra Sphinx pop up, and that whole deal and whatnot, right? And also, I you know what? I actually really enjoyed the scene where you saw Superman performing diplomacy with the head of like the lizard folk or whatnot that live in the middle of the earth and shit whatnot. Like it reminds you of that trope with Superman that's always there, where he has that respect from everyone. You know what I mean? Whatnot, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a goodness in him and whatnot that like transfers and translates over other lines to where other alien species and whatnot and shit and everything respect him. You know what I mean? Whatnot, right? And I dig that about him. I really do. I did that about Superman, right? And I think that it contrasts very well to like Batman and like how he is with like with Gotham, with the police department and everything, right? You get what I'm saying? I think it's interesting that kind of parallel that they have, how different it is. Either way, yeah. No, anyways, I'm not trying to get all meta because let's be honest, I'm not very good at it. But anyways, no, but besides that, just the fact that I thought it was funny. I mean, it was light, the humor, but like the whole deal with Atlas and and Samson, like just hitting on Lois over and over and over again, and like talking shit to Superman the whole time about, you know what I mean, like smiling at him and shit and whatnot and everything. Like that was funny. I found that funny as hell. I really did. I thought it was really funny that they had to like they literally had to do contests and shit and whatnot to win her or whatever.
Yeah, that was my favorite funny part. That sequence was really cool. How he defeated the Inquisitor, because like my second rewatch today, I totally forgot that he like he Superman has a very like super mind, like the Flash. He can read very quickly on information, and he has a photograph memory of things, and so when he flashes back to the newspaper that I don't know, one of those two guys gave it to him about Superman dead, foretelling his death towards the end. It was cool that he used that and realized that okay, we surrender, and that's how he saves Lois in that moment. I appreciate that because like one of the things that's been difficult with the Superman movies is like showing Superman, like except with Superman 2, like where he actually tricks the Kryptonians, General Zod and his co-hosts with the Red Sun and Superman 2, the Christopher Reeve movie. He's smart. He uses wits to defeat his villains. Like and he does that later to Lex when Lex is Super Lex. You know. So I appreciate that sequence.
Yeah, and Derpy, I just want to be clear, like seriously, man. Look, Marvel movie fanboys don't know what the fuck is that supposed to mean. I don't like that at all. I don't know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the same fucking people that come on our shows and shit and whatnot, and come on our panels and whatnot and everything, and like don't know the comics and whatnot? Are they what they're fanboy? God damn it! Being first in creation when it hurts my souls. Your souls hurt? Okay. Well, you know what? Try getting down by She-Hulk. That most of them don't know they copied from DC a lot. What these characters have got right treatment. All right, man. Whatever. You must know a different, like, you must live in a different reality than I do or something, whatnot, and everything, because I know the history of goddamn DC comics and the Marvel comics, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and also, like,
copy any fucking thing from DC. Are you goddamn ridiculous? Come on now. Do some research.
Yeah, like also
before you get all soul hurt and shit, baby.
Yeah, like also the thing is like it's not DC Marvel. Can you fix the audio, Jeff? Something I think you didn't.
What? It's fixed. What do you mean?
It's by your side for some reason.
No, I have the cancellation on. Johnny, do I sound okay? Cyber, I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Yeah.
Well, what are you hearing, Andres?
I'm hearing my voice sound to your side.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'll look. Let me look at your audio settings, okay? But no, look, look. I'm not even going to address any of this stuff that this guy's Derpy. I'm sorry, but I can't address this kind of stuff and whatnot. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about and everything. So I'm just going to stay away from this stuff. This is the stuff that divides people, not brings them together. We don't dig all that over here at the Bleeding Edge. We're down with positivity, baby, and this ain't entertaining. So, at the end of the day, though, thank you, Johnny, for jumping in there and whatnot. I appreciate you, right? And flexing. You know what I'm saying? No outlining shit, no script, and getting after it. Yes, Cyber, if you want to start off, what did you think of seeing? What did you think of the whole aspect of Lois getting the serum, right? Like, I mean, did you find the shit with Atlas, right? And Samson funny, like, and all that? I know it was lighthearted, but like, did you find that kind of funny or at least like amusing or whatever and whatnot? What did you think of the addition of the characters that they brought into the film, right? As we started to proceed and whatnot and everything.
So the Middle Earth dinosaur people were freaking amazing. That was really awesome. I love that. They were just the bomb. If I could see talking dinosaurs all the time, I would love to see that because that just would be so much fun. But yeah, those guys were awesome. I love that sequence there where they, come up and start creating damage, and Superman and Lois have to stop them while she has the superpowers. Lois getting the superpowers, it's cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like, Superman, should you really have done that? Is she gonna get a little big-headed a little bit here? Having felt that power. Lois is already kind of big-headed anyways, but you never know with Lois. So I was kind of like, this could be good, this could be bad. All right, we'll see where it goes. And I mean, she did okay. I thought she did pretty decent. But I thought, her having the powers, that was funny that they, had it kind of like she's supposed to be, Supergirl, Superwoman. I definitely thought that what was interesting is, I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I felt that Superman's S changed several different times throughout this whole entire film. Like 1 minute it'd be the this classic S, and then other times we see the late 70s, early 80s S, and then other times you see the 50s S. I felt like they kept changing it throughout the animation, which I thought was kind of weird, because it kind of was confusing. Like, is this supposed to be based off of Schuster's, or Jerry? Is this supposed to be based off of this gentleman that we've been talking about, that he did this comic run that this particular film is based off of? So I thought that was kind of interesting. They decided to do that, to kind of change it up every time we were, in a new scene. I felt that several times they kind of changed it up, which I thought was funny. But all the creatures that we got, introduced to, I thought was really fun. They all made it very entertaining. Yes, the superhero duo there that showed up and then were trying to pine for Lois, which was pretty funny. And then her actually, getting into it and say, "Hey, let me have some fun. It's my birthday." That was kind of funny. And them trying to be like, they're so much better than Superman. And I was cracking up like, you guys have no chance against Superman. What are you guys even smoking? And they kept thinking, oh, they're so much better than Superman, blah, 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 and stuff like that. My father is a god, blah, And I just thought it was kind of funny how they had them kind of play that off like that, which gave you kind of a little bit of that comic or comedic humor, and I thought that was fun. So yeah, those guys definitely were funny. They were a good addition there that they added to the film. Leading up to Lois officially the powers residing, and her thanking Superman for such a wonderful day, but still not believing that he's Clark Kent, which I thought was kind of hilarious. I'm like, he told you he's Clark Kent. Why don't you believe that? Nah, you're not Clark Kent. Which I thought, I was just like, huh? That doesn't make sense, Lois. He just told you he is Clark Kent. He transformed out of Clark Kent into Superman. It's not like Superman turned into Clark Kent. So I don't get why that was so hard, Lois. But I thought that was interesting. I thought that they kind of played on that, making her like, he's kind of like, I still don't believe it. I guess that I think added to the, kind of the thematic and kind of mystery elements to the film, to kind of give you kind of that wondering eye kind of thing, or wondering type of thing, like, oh, maybe there's more to this that we haven't seen. Ooh, interesting. So yeah, I definitely thought that was fun. And I think it's interesting how, too, is that this is based off that comic book line. So if you're not very familiar with the comic books, coming into this, not knowing those comics, you're going to be very, I feel, particular in how you view the film.
Good point, Ivor. You're right. That's got Johnny Andres. That's a really good point, isn't it? Like that, you would really have a different lens, wouldn't you?
Because after if you've read the comics, you're gonna know what the storyline end comes to. But if you haven't read the comic books, you're not going to know that. So you kind of go in with a fresh slate versus somebody that's read the comic books. So you have a better understanding of the film if you've read the comic that this is based off of versus, a person that hasn't. But at the same time, I think that it comes down to as well is that there can be good things about not having read the comics and you enjoy the film better. I know some things you do find you enjoy better when you have read what it's based on, or if the movie's based on a book series or something like that. I mean, the Harry Potters, the Fantastic Beast, those are good examples. The Megs, these are films that are based on actual book series that the book series themselves are fantastic. Now, not everyone might not like the comic book series, so I think that I'm sure there's several people that watch this probably that hadn't read the comic books that really enjoyed it. I don't think reading the comic book would have changed that for me, but at the same time, I just think that it's interesting how an animated film or any film can have such a great wide variety of people's thoughts and how they feel about it. And I think this movie is a perfect example of what that brings. And I think that this general section of the film kind of brings a good, portion of that because of how much goes on in this little section of the film. And I think that it made it very enjoyable.
Good, well said. That's very well done, Cyber. I appreciate you on that. Great job. Johnny Fuent, brother, you got to get out of here. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick you as much time as you want, man. We got plenty of time. So if you want to go ahead and just espouse and sort of just pick and choose from, I don't care if you want to open up the whole film. Go ahead, just
Oh no, I'll let you guys discuss because you guys are only partially way there, and you guys haven't go to the good stuff. So I'll let you guys.
All right. All right. Well, give
Honestly,
me the spoiler free. Give me the spoiler free. Take your spoiler free take of the rest of the film, whatnot, everything, and then give me a rating, and I'll plug you.
Honestly, I would rate this film definitely a 9 out of 10, especially if we're talking about quality. Definitely a quality DC animated film. It definitely, when I first saw it, surprised me at the fact that they took a lot of the meat and a lot of the meat and chunks of what made All-Star Superman such a great comic run, especially when it came to Grant Morrison. But anyway, definitely a really great animated film. Definitely in my top 5, and I absolutely loved it.
And there you go, folks. Make sure
Yeah.
that you absolutely fucking love fucking goddamn Fuent chat with Johnny Fuent, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, this is Fuent Chat with Johnny Fuent. This is my podcast. I talk about video games, movies, TV shows, comic books, and all that stuff.
Johnny, Alien and Predator, Dark Horse versus Marvel Comics, man. Why didn't you fucking ask me if I wanted to be on that?
I didn't know you read Alien Predator
Dude,
comics.
I love the fucking Alien Predator shit.
Okay, I mean I didn't know. You've never mentioned Alien and Predator to me, so I didn't know.
Honestly, you're right. Cyber, I've only probably brought it up like once, maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe ever. That I like the Alien Predator shit, whatnot, everything, those comics. The Dark Horse.
So Johnny would have not known.
Whatever. Anyways, yeah, Johnny, my bad.
Whatever yourself, bro.
Next time, though.
I mean, I talk about, I bring up the new series under Marvel. I even talk about the upcoming crossover with Wolverine that's going to be happening with Predator, and how I'm curious to see how they're going to do that, considering Wolverine has a healing factor and a manti. I go into it a little bit, what my theory is on how they're going to do this. Either it's going to be very early Wolverine, or they're giving the Predator a very, very big upgrade.
Wait a minute. The Predator and fucking Wolverine are going to make a movie together?
No, not a movie. It's a comic book. It's happening in September or October.
I was going to say, I'm supposed to haven't heard about that shit. Holy fuck.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be a comic book run. I just finished the recent Predator comic run, and right now I'm waiting for the last issue of the recent Alien series. Would definitely recommend. So far, they haven't done an AVP comic book, but since it's Marvel, they're really wanting everything to connect. My guess is that the Wolverine.
I forgot about that, Johnny. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up. That's right. That Marvel actually did. They went ahead and they scooped up the rights, didn't they? They bought the rights.
Yeah, I mean, they bought Fox and they got that series. I'm super excited to see what they do with that. And like I was saying before, I talk about everything. And in my latest episode, I talk about how a lot of these video game companies have basically lost a lot of trust in fans, just releasing games and have basically gotten lazy. If you want to check it out, definitely check it out wherever you hear podcasts. But that's about it from my end. It was a great and always enjoy coming on to the Bleeding Edge. Always enjoy talking about the animated films. But yep, I'll see you guys later. Jeff, Cyber, Andreas, I'll talk to y'all later.
Thank you, Johnny. Make sure you guys check out Johnny's Twitter. All right. And make sure you check out his TikTok. All right. It ain't hard to find. Johnny Fuent. He's Johnny Fuent. Right. You know what I'm saying? I watch his videos all the time on TikTok. Right. They're good. So check them out yourself. Johnny,
All right,
be good, brother. See you soon. Oh, shit. Now we are 3. Man, that means Cyber. That means that you and I might get to talk for like maybe 10 or 15, 10 or 12 minutes for like the next hour. And then Andres will have the rest of it. Right. If we're lucky, if he decides to like throw us some scrap, you know what I'm saying?
Jeff is going to be the one that's talking the longest.
We'll be lucky if it's amazing how you could moderate the show, folks, and somehow Andres will take over the show and it's almost like you're not even moderating.
No. Jeff is the one that's going to take over the show. Me and Cyber are
the shut up. Dogs. I'm not fucking selfish like that. That's not even like my attitude about the show. Oh shit. Oh, I'm sorry. Should I have muted myself earlier?
No, that was my fault. I'm using the Firefox, and you can actually like mute yourself in the tabs. So it was my bad. So
I told you to go through Google Chrome to use StreamYard, man.
No, it doesn't work in Google Chrome. I use Google.
What? What? StreamYard literally fucking tells you to use Google Chrome and to tell your guests. That's what they tell you.
Yeah, I know that. When I first tried it, it was in the. I was using, Sapphire, right? And they let you know what app to use.
I know. Yes, they do. They defer you over to Google Chrome. I know. Yeah. Firefox can also work. They've changed that now. StreamYard has, folks. Just so you know out there, if you're thinking about getting involved with StreamYard. They have now actually made it to where they no longer are designating Google Chrome as the only place that you can safely kind of go through to come on. You actually can go through Firefox now. I've learned that, through my troubleshooting and dealing with customer support with my reaction video failures. But okay, so Lois I thought was strong in this. You felt the passion Clark had for her. Every choice he made in the story, you felt his soul throughout the story as each day came closer and closer to the outcome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. It was emotional. So basically, Andres, I never went to you, I don't think, did I? On that portion of the film, whatnot, everything that we just talked about and covered.
No. We were letting John to.
Well, sir, please jump in. You know where we were at.
Yeah. Well, first I want to bring up the S logo that Cyber brought up. That was Grant's way of honoring all the history of Superman and his logos, and that he does that with Batman as well. He also touched every decade of comics from the Batman or whoever he's writing to honor that history. So that's why we see it in this animation, which was cool. That was the second time when I rewatched it again. I was like, oh yeah, it was from the comics, and then they did it here, which is cool. Because I mean, he says something that in an interview for people that every Batman that you read is important, and that's his Batman that he's writing. It's everything is canonical in his writing. That's why you look at here, everything from Superman's first issue to now is canonical in Morris's run, which is cool. So, because a lot of times DC or for us is we want to distance ourselves from the previous versions or or these interpretations of these characters we love because maybe they don't work anymore, which is kind of stupid, So I appreciate with Grant. It's he's respecting every version of Superman we had to this point in media and comics, which is good. And yeah, the two super beings that we have in this movie they're so funny. Atlas and Samson were very funny. I really cracked up when they want to armor Superman, the fact that they're going to be beaten very quickly. And I just love that gag when you hear that, explosion, and then you see the water like coming up in the sky. That like confirms Superman won. That was funny. But yeah, so and yeah, what else? It was kind of cool. The dinosaurs. Like if James Gunn is gonna adapt the All Star Superman, I really want to see this, like the dinosaurs in live action, because that'd be kind of cool. And the like live action, like action sequence for Superman to fight. Because everyone complains that Superman doesn't fight. Despite he fights like Kryptonians and stuff like that. But yeah, so overall, I like this section part of the movie. One thing I want to bring up was James Dante, who played the Superman actor here. I liked him. He's a great actor. I see him in the TV show called The Good Witch. I think he's a good Superman Clark. I think he he reminds me a little bit of like the Tim Dale version of Superman from the animation series of the TV in the DCAU continuity. I think he had a good voice, and we haven't talked about the art. I appreciate the animation was making me copying some of the style from the Grant Morrison's run, so I really appreciate the animation copying the art from the comic, which was really neat. Like Lex looked exactly like from the comics, and that was really cool. So, but yeah, overall, I like the second act.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I suppose you could. Well, if you're implying that the movie is in 2 acts, we haven't gone that far. But
I mean, three acts, whatever. I mean,
I get what you're saying. I'm messing with you.
Yeah.
No. So, basically, if I remember correctly, basically, I think where I had Johnny stop, right, was basically when, I believe, what was it? It was, jeez.
I think the prison, right? We didn't got.
Oh yeah. It was a prison break, right? And it was when, and I'll tell you, that's actually a question I wanted to ask y'all. Cyber, when over you can extend this out, and feel free to. The dynamic between Clark Kent as Clark Kent with Lex Luthor in this, right? Where I know enough about DC to know that like now Lex Luthor knows his identity, but he doesn't at this point, right? His real identity. So I really found it very. I felt like in a way that like they've given me more to work with Lex Luthor in these DC animated films as far as what was possible with that character, right? And like what I'm saying, and the interactions that he has with Superman, like and like I feel like it's just sort of different than the stuff I've seen cinematically. And so at that point, like the dynamic where you see him talk to Clark Kent, right? And even like help him survive that prison break, deal and whatnot, and everything, right? And all that. And that whole dichotomy, how it plays out, because obviously there's more dialogue between them too, down the road in the film. What did you think about all that? Like, was that kind of, did that get to you a little, did you notice that too? Did that stand out to you?
No. I don't think I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't looking for it. I mean, when I watched this, I was watching it basically to get just kind of the story across, to see what it's about, see if I liked it, see if I enjoyed it. And because, like I said, because I haven't read in the comics, I really had no interest in knowing anything further about it. So, in general, I mean, the Lex Superman dichotomy has been going on for years, for centuries now. And, since the inception of Superman 80 plus years ago, Lex Luthor has been in there too for almost that long. So, I mean, for Lex Luthor to know that, Clark is Superman or Superman is Clark and all this kind of stuff, it's not surprising. It's definitely something they've, had happen several different times throughout the different comics and different animated films they've done and all that kind of stuff. And but overall, I think to me it wasn't something I was looking for or searching for in this film.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, Cyber. I think that this movie does a really good job of like showing the Superman and Lex a comedy very well compared to like the live action cinematic movies. Separating from the comics, I think the thing that the live action movies do really wrong is just not getting the Lex and Superman comedy right. Like this movie does it so well. Like the reason that Lex hates Superman is because he like takes away everything what makes humans special. Like like when he's talking to Clark, he's doing his exercise and all that. He's showing off its how do you say it, like showing off his human physical peak, where Superman gets his physical peak because of his like absorption of radiation and his alien biology. Like he was he was born with this, where he didn't work like nail to tooth to build his body to physical portion. So that's why Lex hates Superman, and because like he thinks we humans can handle ourselves, not Superman, this alien of a higher being. And I think this movie does it so well, and especially I like because we don't see enough of the Clark and Lex, because he knows Clark because of Lois, and it was very neat to see this a comedy of Clark and Lex, because it was very funny when Clark has to save Lex in the prison, which was funny how he had to pretend to be Clark and then use his superpowers to stop the escalation of Parasite in the prison riot. So that was neat, and because my favorite line from Lex was like, "What are you afraid of? Like absorbing your cowardness, Clark." That line killed me. That was very funny. But yeah, I think Lex was really great here. I think this movie does a really good job of examining the Lex and Superman relation, because he too is gonna die. I like how this movie like literally like Superman's gonna die in a very like human way because of a disease that he doesn't know how to cure, where Lex is gonna die because he has committed the worst crimes, and like that is really interesting. Like this alien's gonna die like natural causes, and then Lex is gonna die as a human because he caused a lot of these like horrible crimes that he did to kill Superman.
And he doesn't even care. He doesn't even give a shit. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm dying, but like Superman's fucking dying too.
Yeah, exactly, and that was cool. It was great to see that in the movie, and it shows why Lex is so Lex. Why he hates Superman. It's like he will take it that far to just defeat him. And oh man, that ending, like that ending was one of the best endings for like a Lex and Superman moment. But yeah, I love that prison riot. It was cool to see Metallo for a brief second. That robot with the kryptonite heart. That was Metallo. That was kind of neat. Parasite. I'm not the biggest fan of Parasite, and I will say I never liked this monster design. I always prefer the more human Popo design with the white stripes he usually has. But hey, it was fun to see another Superman character running amok, because we don't see a lot of these Superman villains in live action form in the movie. So I'll take it. I'll take it with at least I got Brainiac for one moment. Like, come on. But we'll get to Brainiac.
They didn't even show Brainiac. They just mentioned him.
Yeah. There was a statue. Like it was sort of like
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's a very quick glimpse. It was cool. Yeah.
No. All right. So basically, then at that point, very simply, the Lex Luthor escape hatch in his cell was dope. That shit was dope as fuck, man. I love that shit. So Luthor to have that, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my god. He has was it a niece?
Yeah.
which is funny.
Yeah. She's gonna take over the world. Whatever. I'm done with it.
Oh my god,
Uh,
that was so funny. It's like, oh, she's 16, she has 30 languages, and one day she's aspired to take over.
Yeah, no, and so Kent says to I thought this was kind of poignant. Kent says to Luther when Luther sends him off, you know, you and Superman could have been friends. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, or whatever, whatnot, you know. And again, I just found that interesting. I thought that was interesting. But either way,
No,
so you go
I-
back
I-
to hold on. I mean, hold on. You go back to you know to the Fortress of Solitude. Soups tells Lois he has to take the city of Kandor, where this is where Brainiac comes in, to a new planet to thrive, despite it being, you know, permanently shrunk due to Brainiac. Although he doesn't believe he will survive the trip back, he tells her he's going to return. And you know, as you know, he comes back and crash lands, and you know, as sort of I believe Johnny detailed, right? But didn't he basically? We end up with, you know, these Kryptonian characters that come in that I didn't even know about.
yeah,
Right, and essentially, they have sort of like popped up and decided to pull like a General Zod, basically, right?
yes,
To some extent, to the point where, like, you know, the citizens of fucking Metropolis are like wearing fucking like you know, Krypton clothing and shit and whatnot, and everything, and outfits and all that kind of shit. So either way, that's sort of like, I don't even know. That whole deal was sort of just like, to me, it didn't really do anything for me really all that much. That was just like kind of an aside. It didn't deter, it didn't take anything away from the story or the movie, but it also didn't do anything for me at all. I didn't really care about it. But basically, though, you know, as Johnny mentioned, you know, they basically, you know, this is Bart, L, and Lilo, the lost astronauts from Krypton. They basically just end up, they fight Superman, and Superman's already weakened because he's dying, so they're beating his ass. Although he fights back, and essentially, they just start like dying off themselves. They start falling off themselves because, again, you know, they basically have illnesses, you know, from being exposed to kryptonite, you know, passing through Krypton's remains. Now at that point, they're put in the Phantom Zone in like stasis almost, basically, if I understand correctly.
yeah.
You know, like a limbo period until, you know, Superman can do something to change it, or like, you know, find them a cure. Which, you know Superman, I'm sure he probably ends up doing it. But either way, you know, Luther has, you know, reprogrammed one of the Fortress's robots, of course, to steal the serum, you know, that Superman made for Lois. And once he has the powers of Superman, Luther is able to escape from the electric chair. He gets shocked, he looks dead for a minute, whatnot, and he just gets up and like starts beating ass. And essentially, you know, at that point, he has powers of Superman, and you know, he escapes and kind of takes off. And at that point, Superman finds out that Luther's been working with a Solaris, and it, you know, who was betrayed Luther by turning Earth's sun blue. So basically, at that point, Superman, I thought this was really cool. Like his robots, as they explained them, or whatever, you know, I apologize. What are they called again?
Eradicators.
The Eradicators. They have somewhat almost like free will, or like their own personalities. So like, you know, they flat out are like, no, like we're gonna go fight with you, Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like we're not staying here. And they team up and like, you know, like go after it, like, you know, go to fucking handle their business and shit. And at that point, basically we get like a battle scene almost, where Superman comes, you know, again with with his droid team. You know, he engages Solaris in space, and seems to be like losing the fight basically until Superman pulls his like secret, agent, secret surprise, he pulls Sun Eater out of his pocket, whatnot, right? Who sacrifices itself basically to weaken Solaris so that Superman can then obviously like, as you see in the trailer, like fly right into it and destroy it, right? Or kill it or whatever the fuck, whatever you want to call it. At that point, really at that point, I talked already when I did the synopsis about how, basically, Clark returns to Daily Planet and everything and whatnot. He's ill, and collapses upon completing his article, Superman Dead. And he wakes up from like death, basically almost, or from dying. When Lex Luthor, after taking his serum, the copied serum, shows up to kill Lois. Clark revives, becomes Superman, and takes down Luthor. And at that point, that's when we sort of get this sort of, I guess, clarity, or something like that, whatnot. That something about the serum, about Superman, it causes Luthor to, from momentarily to sort of see, I guess, the world and like, or all worlds, or like people in general, whatever it is, that however it is, the lens that Superman uses, as far as how he views good and evil, and like, the value of life. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, right? You know what I mean? And like, how to, and what the, the ethics of being a superhero, of like, being a hero, of being a champion, right? Of the people, right? How you go about doing it. You know what I'm saying? Whatnot, like, fairness, you know what I'm saying? Forgiveness, right? Basically, he experiences momentarily something very powerful for him, which is, a complete contrast to how he's tuned or wired. At that point, that's when it becomes like, a situation where when Superman takes away his vials of serum, it's like crack to him, because he basically, it's interesting, isn't it? Andre, psychologically, like that, literally, like that taste of like understanding, seeing things through Superman's eyes, right? The world and whatnot, and everything, right?
Yeah.
It's so contradictory to how he feels, that he wants to go right back to it. Like that, he doesn't want to go back to take the serum again so that he can get strong and like fight Superman. He wants to feel that again.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah, that was the thing that was very clever of Superman. Like just using the the graviton gun?
The gravity gun. Yep.
Yeah, and to like accelerate his time to like see this like quantum like atoms thing that like Superman has seen so many years. 'Cause he's been doing it for so many years. So, and it was very clever to just do that to Lex, because you brought up how Lex and Superman could be friends if they work together to achieve that, and it was kind of sad to see like Lex all this time could have been like a partner to Superman to help him improve humanity, instead of fight.
Yeah, it really. I really found that whole, the whole dichotomy of, again, character parallelization, or what I'm saying, not character parallelization, but there's another term for it, but you understand what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Compare and contrast. Yeah.
something like that. Where you have a dichotomy where, a person has two identities, right? And the antagonist speaks to one and speaks differently to the other one, essentially, right? If to make it simple, you know what I mean? Not like hates and loves them. You know what I mean? Like, like he even says things like, like I respect you. You know what I'm saying? When not and shit, when not everything, like, Now the reasons are not good, of course. It's like because you're weak, you know what I mean? Whatnot, like you're spineless and shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
seriously, like you're a little bitch. You know, you're soft. You know what I'm saying? You know, but
Yeah.
then again, you don't know. Like you don't know if he means it like in a negative way or if he means as in like he's not Superman, right? As in like he's not super strong, right?
Yeah,
No?
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I agreed. I think you see that, but also he sees Clark being smart too. I mean, he tells him that the bullets are connectedly absorbing from parasite and all that.
Yeah, and that's who he wants to write his like memoirs or whatever, whatnot, too, right? It's Clark.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
right? And that's basically the only value he has to him, essentially. That's why he saves him and everything and whatnot. It has nothing to do with like good and evil, or like
yeah,
life, right?
yeah.
But no, so essentially, Cyber, well, let me here, we're basically done at that point. Let me just wrap up. So basically, Cyber, we were just bullshitting while you were gone. But basically, so as and Andres mentioned, Clark revives and fires a gravity gun at Luthor, the superpowered Luthor. And as Luthor's powers fade due to the effect of the gravity gun, right? He briefly sees the world as Superman does and weeps, right? And that's what we were talking about, Cyber, was how deep that shit was and whatnot, right? For like, you know what I mean? Like to me, that was powerful, right? The fact that, he weeps and he gains a measure of understanding that parallels his understanding, his belief system, his lens of the world, right? And it's so powerful to him, this contradiction, this different way of viewing life and quality of life and value of life and people, right? And good and evil and whatnot. And, it's so contradictive so heavily to what he has going on that it utterly causes him to basically like almost like he's on crack, like a crackhead. He immediately reaches for another vial of that shit, but it's not because he wants to get superpowered and fight Superman anymore and kill him. It's because he literally just wants to immediately experience that again, that feeling of of living thinking and being able to experience how Superman sees things or not, right? And when Superman takes that shit away from him, and it's like, now you can't have that shit, and destroys it, even though Luthor's like, oh my God, I'll suck your dick. I got these 2 cheeseburgers, you know what I'm saying? All this shit and whatnot, right? Superman is not, affected by that. And, either point, basically just tells Luthor straight up like that, like, you're full of shit, right? Like, you don't give a shit about anybody. You're selfish. You ain't trying to help nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because it shouldn't have to take my serum to give you like this type of clarity and whatnot to understand like what doing true goodness is for the world. And that if he really could change, he would have already done it a long time ago. And Luthor admits he's right. And at that point, that's how shit basically kind of ends with Superman's started turning into pure energy, a la like that ScarJo film, Lucy or whatever.
Lucy, when she becomes the 100%.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Hey, add to the list. He proclaims his love for Lois, as I said before, gives her this cape as a way to remember him before he leaves and flies into the sun, seamlessly. We don't know. And again, we get like a final scene where we have Jimmy Olsen, bringing Lois to a memorial service, being held for Superman. Lois doesn't go because she refuses to accept the reality that like he would actually be dead. And he's basically just repairing the sun. And we end up with Dr. Quintum, if that's pronounced correctly, visiting Luthor in his cell, he's still on death row. Now enlightened from his ordeal, knowing he's dying, presenting Quintum with the only thing that could, again, redeem him for his actions, a formula to recreate Superman's genetic structure through a healthy human ovum or whatever. There you go, folks. You want? Should I dig out my biology book on that one or what? So
No, it's so see that so it is a little confusing, but it's actually like how you donate your thing, to the
yeah, I know about that. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like that where
I-
Lex figured out how to like genetically put the
Oh,
formula to Lois because remember there's a line where Lois and Clark were talking about we want to have kids, but
yes.
couldn't have the kids because of the different biology and whatnot. So that's what it was setting that up, and that's why we ended that.
No, so basically, I mean, I like I said, I thought this was a great movie. The ending was a little bit confusing to me at some points and whatnot, but then by the end of it, I got it. I understood what was going on and whatnot and everything. And basically, they kind of just left things with a cliffhanger in a way, you know what I mean? Which I'm assuming plays out throughout the rest of the DC animated films, right? I mean, as a part of the story, I'm assuming, or something like that, or is this a one-off?
This is a one-off. This is a
One-off.
graphic novel. Yeah,
That's right.
it's a Elseworld story.
Okay. So it's one of those things where like there is no answer to like what actually really happened and all that kind of stuff kind of deal. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Cyber, my friend. What do you think, man? Take as much time as you'd like. What are your thoughts on that whole, third of the film? What are your thoughts on sort of, I guess, the pacing? If it's consistent, I guess maybe to me, as I look back at it, I see the film as basically being broken up into kind of 2/3 or 3/3. If that makes sense. I see it in like three different kind of stages in my mind. Sort of as how they laid it out. But either way, it was compact, I thought, tight, you tell me, was there anything in in that final 40% of the movie or whatever, whatnot, that was boring to you or that confused you, or, did you overall enjoy it? Anything you want to add or anything you want to bring to your contribution here as far as that part of the film? And then if you want to drop your rating as well.
All right, so we're starting from what point again?
We're starting from when, basically from when Luthor breaks out of his cell with Clark, right?
Okay.
Right? You know what I mean? And then sends him off. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes and takes off and comes back. And 2 months later, we've got the Kryptonian astronauts there.
Okay.
Their whole kind of shtick.
Excellent. So the whole prison sequence I really enjoyed. I thought it was really fun. I liked the bad guys they had come be a part of it in the battle. I like how Superman himself was being targeted by the creature. That was awesome.
Parasite.
And Parasite. He kept doing his little tricks behind people's that they couldn't see him doing the Superman things, which was really fun. And I thought that, Luthor's like thinking he's so much better than Clark was absolutely hilarious in that whole section. So that was very entertaining. I really enjoyed that section. Then once after that, he and Superman leaves to bring that city back to a new planet. Basically, I just felt that it got pretty one note and just wasn't very enjoyable. I thought there was a lot of this that just the dialogue was just so funny. It just was so badly done. It was like very quirky, very stupid. And like some of the lines, I was just like, what are they even saying? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Like, there's no basis of reality here at all. And I get that. It's animation. I get it. It's, DC, it's superheroes. I get that. But at the same time, it's just like, I was just like, some of the one-liners were just so bad. I was like, what the hell am I watching? And basically, as it ventures to the end, we got that great battle end with Luthor and Superman at the end, which was really fun. Really enjoyed that. Basically, Superman telling Luthor he's fucking insane, for thinking that why would the world be better without me? If it was better, if people were just like that, and just thinking to myself, I'm like, first off, Superman can't help it that he was born on another planet and that he came to this Earth and got powers, because on his planet he did not have powers. So this is not his fault. So Luthor, to think like the world was so evil because he didn't have powers, just sounds like that egomaniacal thought process of just being a spoiled little bitch brat, is what Lex Luthor is. And so I thought that was kind of funny, him trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm so prim and proper. And like, no, Lex, you were just an idiot. And so I did enjoy how Superman was so Superman in this. I love that he was so American Superman. And I love that about this film. I love that he was so about being good, about taking care of people, making sure they don't die, all that kind of good stuff. I love that. And I love that about the Superman. I thought they did a really good job with that. But basically ending him going off, turning into pure energy to refix the sun. It is what it is. I don't think it's anything special. They've killed off Superman now a zillion times now. Same thing with Captain America now several times now. It's it is what it is. I don't think it was a great ending. I think it was okay. I did like the battle sequence between Superman and that giant star creature, the robot Rubik's thing, and him like basically screwing our Earth sun. That was cool. I mean, the white suit that Superman wears in that scene, I was kind of like, this seems like a very 40s, 50s like style look for Superman. Like, I feel he wore this at some point in the comics at some time. And I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, they had him in that suit to be able to protect him from the red sun thing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But overall, an okay film. Not the greatest, not the best, not my favorite. I would have to give it a solid 5 out of 10. Yeah, I think it was okay.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. A 5 is not a bad rating, right? It's in the middle. It means 50-50. You know what I mean? So, like, just to be clear, but it's a joke. I'm just joking and saying because, like, people get so fucking, like, whipped up about so stupid shit with some of this stuff and whatnot. I'm just like, fuck, man. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. Jesus Christ. Like I was gonna say, like Derpy, honestly, man, I think what you saw there with the white suits and shit that Cyber was talking about, that's actually DC's version of fucking Endgame, right? Was like that bullshit right there, right? So, you know what I'm saying? That's my response to like your whole premise earlier. I'm just kidding. I'm busting your balls the same with anybody else. Andres, you're in the hot corner now, motherfucker. What's up? So.
Yeah.
What you got? What you got, bruh? What you got? What you got to say about the final third of the film?
So okay, so you brought up like the two Kryptonians that you don't care about. The point. See, I like that sequence because it shows Superman being really,
you like everything.
yeah, but I like this because it actually knows what Superman is. As Cyber brought up, how they nailed the Superman heroics. Like like everyone always complains about like, oh, Superman cannot kill and all of that. Like, this movie actually did a good job of showing you that Superman will kill if you cross that line. Like that like Solaris, that creature that was blocking the sun, that creature say mercy, and then Superman say, I don't have many left, and like he just kills that thing. So he is able to kill people in his own terms, and that's something I appreciate about this film. I thought the Kryptonian thing makes sense because that's his last people, that's his last race, and so losing them again, he is the last son of Krypton, so he's the last person of his race, So I think him losing those two people was kind of sad, and like he didn't kill them, he like at least gave them another chance to live. They cannot live in Earth. They have to live in this like the pocket dimension that's aka the Phantom Zone. So But yeah, I like that part of the movie, and I don't think it's weak. I think it's important to the character of Superman because that's how he defeats Lex. You know, he tries to talk out of Lex of doing his crimes. And instead Lex doesn't listen to him. I did like we didn't bring up there was this quick scene of the prison scene where like Superman actually goes to see Lex as Superman, and I like how he tells him I'm sorry, like we should work together, and I like the response from Lex of spitting at the glass because he just hates Superman so much, and I really like that scene because it just shows how Lex just despises him as a character. And then the son. So it's actually a very clever villain plot. Like a lot of people I don't see this enough in the live action movies. Is like the sun powers Superman, like that's his source of energy, and like I like the idea of why he's dying is because the thing that gives him his powers is also killing him. That I like, and I think this movie did a very good job of handling that. Yes, is it goofy as Cyber say? Yeah, but I think that's the point of what Grant Morrison is trying to do. This is like a very silver age story, like, but handling it in a very graceful and like mature way, I would say. But oh my god, the robots! I don't know if you guys kind of cry a little bit when that robot say, "Oh, my reprogram." Yes, one of the the Eradicators, brought up that he was the one that portrayed Superman, and like he asked Superman for forgiveness, and then he when he got destroyed, he's like, "Forgive me," and it was so sad. I was like, "Why?" Like the robot did nothing wrong. He was tricked by Lex. Come on, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, that was sad, but I was happy that Superman killed that awful creature because after the sun creature eating thing got killed, it was like, yeah, you're gonna die, sun eater person, whatever thing. The Lex versus Superman is really great. It's so top notch animation. This is my favorite Superman battle after Man of Steel, I guess. Superman 2. I think Superman 2's Metropolis fight sequence is great. Seeing Lex beating up Superman and at his lowest is really kind of scary, but at the same time, it was cool to see Superman using the gravity gun to accelerate his time as a super being to see what he see his alignment quickly, and and when Lex say that you're right, that really hits because now he realized he should have helped Superman instead of fighting him, and that scene was really great. And that ending's good. I like the way we ended it, and I just like how Lex redeemed himself by giving that professor a way to maybe get Earth have another Superman. Having Lois have a kid and all that. So that was really good. So yeah, overall, I really like this movie. This one was tough. I will give it a 8.9 out of 10. I think this was a really good adaptation of the story. I think it does a good job of conveying the themes and the message that Grant Morrison was trying to do with this 12 as Johnny was saying, the 12 mini issue run of All-Star Superman. And speaking of the credits, the end credits with the actors' names popping up, I actually like that. That's probably my favorite after Justice League, New Frontier, and Crisis on Two Earths. But yeah, that 8.9 out of 10. This is a good film. I highly recommend all of you to see this film. If you're a big fan of Dwayne McDuffie, this is a movie you have to see, because of his writing. But yeah, I like this movie. It's a good Superman movie. I wish that we get a lot more good Superman movies in live action.
60-minute Andre.
No, it wasn't 60 minutes. It was 50 minutes. Folks, please. 50 minutes.
Andres, I lit a fucking cigarette before you started talking. Right before you started talking, right? I have not even smoked it. I was busy. I look back at it, and the fucking cigarette is gone. It's smoke.
Good.
It's itself. That's how long you talk, bro.
Good. Good. You don't need to smoke.
So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do around here. We don't use right. You know, we don't use regular systems of measurement. We just like use cigarettes and shit, and whatnot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's Bleeding Edge style, baby. Anyways, Andres the pop culture guy, my friend.
Yeah.
You know what, sir? I respect your 9, right? On this movie. I think it's very it's certainly not delusional or unrealistic. I'd say that for me, I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Yeah.
I think there's holes in it. I think there are holes. Honestly, I think that there's things that they could have emphasized differently, right? Maybe. Again, I guess if I was to give you guys a final question, Cyber, what do you think about how to kind of sort of bounce off the other DC animated films we've reviewed and how we've had that theme where we have discussed, you and I both moderating, we brought up sort of how sort of concise and well structured a lot of these films have been, to where they're able to be so good in these short periods of time, right? And have it all kind of mostly work for the most part. Nothing's perfect, right? Where does this one stand kind of in that category?
Out of all the ones we've watched, this one I would say is my least favorite. So I would say it would rank the bottom of the bunch for me.
Okay. Andres, what do you think?
I mean, I will disagree with Cyber there, bottom of the list. I'll definitely put. Yeah, this is gonna be tough.
60-minute Andre.
No. Anyways, not 60 minutes. Oh my god, no! Now you put me in proof pressure now. Oh my god. Yeah, come on. Put it. I think I'll probably put it at 4th in my ranking after Justice League New Frontier, Batman Under the Red Hood, Wonder Woman, the 2009 film, and then All Star Superman's like number 4, and then the bottom is like, for me, is the what was it? The Superman Batman Apocalypse. That was really bad.
You should see the bottom of like the different women I fucked and whatnot, like what my bottom looks like. You know what I'm saying? It's rock bottom, baby.
Why could you just say that with Cyber, not me?
What?
Come on.
Hey, look, I'm true knowledge, baby. That means like, you know what I'm saying? That I've got to tell the truth. You know what I'm saying? So,
at least I appreciate your honesty, Jeff.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is, baby. You take what you can get sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you got that urge, baby, right? You know,
if everyone wants to know Johnny's rating, it's a 9 out of 10. So 9 out of 10. Mine is an 8 out of 10. Jeff is 7 out of 10, and then Cyber thinking 60 minutes right now. 5 out of 10.
There you go.
Okay,
that's right. And of course, my penis is actually 0.35 centimeters long. So
very true.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is exciting news. So Cyber, you see the real thing. When? May I ask? Where, the party or like a?
I never see my shit. What are you talking about?
But why he say it was real?
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think, Andres? When me and Cyber get together, we like circle jerk or some shit together, or what? Like what?
I think you guys are star-crossed lovers.
No, we're not.
You know.
I'll tell you right now, Cyber will tell you straight up that like just because I like itching shit and whatnot, everything, I am fucking as masculine as you can fucking possibly be. Like I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Sure,
I'm not gonna be joining the circle jerk team anytime soon.
60 minutes, Jeff. 60 minutes.
I told my son that we were walking on the mall and he was like flexing his arm in this like jerking off motion. And I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Are you like practicing for the fucking are you gonna be like becoming a professional teching dudes off, a connoisseur or something? You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to strengthen your game or whatever, or your technique. Or Oh god, that shit's funny. I'm sorry. Folks, Oppenheimer is dope as fuck. So go watch it. All right? Like seriously, go watch it. Like, you know what I'm saying? The Bleeding Edge, even without Cyber, I haven't watched it because I know him so well, has the stamp of approval on it and whatnot to where you should go see it. Right at that point. And do me a favor too. If you have young kids that are above the age of 12, bring them with you. I don't care if it's rated R. Bring your kids. Let them fucking watch an actual fucking movie that historically depicts what reality actually was in the past and whatnot and everything. They would actually learn something. You know what I'm saying? And that's good. So, you know what I mean? Like, I really enjoyed my experience seeing it with my son. So and that's a good feeling. Right. Same kind of feel you get from the MCU. But anyways, honestly, folks, overall, we appreciate all of you out there. Thank you for however you would end up consuming this review. Thank you to Cyberneticshark for coming back, right? When he's not 100% yet, still whatnot, everything, but wanting to be here, right? We miss you, brother. You know what I'm saying? We would have been okay without you, but right, it's always better when you're here. Thank you to Andres, the pop culture guy. Andres, you motherfucker, you better communicate with me and shit and whatnot tonight or tomorrow, whatever, whatnot, because we have 5 shows on the MCU Bleeding Edge report to do before Daryl Dixon starts. So, like, we need a game plan for those 5 shows. Folks, basically this Friday we got Braveheart. 9:35 p.m. Eastern, 6:35 p.m. Pacific. We got Braveheart, baby. Andres, you doing Braveheart or not? I can't remember if you decided if you wanted to or not.
No.
Okay. Andres is going to take a week off.
Minute Man would not like that movie.
No, so there you go. So Andres won't be there, but Cyber will be there. I'll be moderating. It's fucking Braveheart, baby. What can I say? This is going to be awesome. I'm actually going to make an effort to make sure that I've got some clips that hopefully I won't have any problems with copyright with when not prepared, so that we can actually have some more visual stuff to work with. And I just want to point out also that as well that on Sunday I'm going to be doing a second part, finally, thank God, of a 4-part Andor season 1 recap and breakdown. We should have a great panel. We had Kel from Kelly's Reactions on last week. She should be back again this week. And I believe that Jay from DJB Productions Network will be on. Jassim might be on. We would have Big Nate the Great, potentially. He might come back. I don't know, a couple of the people. I can't remember who else. We have on Monday, Andres and I don't even fucking know yet what we're doing. But we are doing Daryl Dixon when it comes out. And next Wednesday we've got Green Lantern, Emerald Lights, which I've heard is really good. We did good. The first Green Lantern DC animated film was really good, so I'm thinking this one's going to be good too. And then next Friday we have Mac and Me, right? That was Cyber's pick. I've never seen it before at all. Cyber, I never have, so you're going to be getting my authentic reaction to the movie.
It's basically E.T., but more adult, and a few years later.
Is it to the level of Age of Anal?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Oh my god, it's E.T. in Nightmare. And
It sounds great. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And then, of course, folks,
it's also considered a box office blob of a film, but yet it has a bigger cult following than E.T.
You had to mention the Blob. Now I got to add that to the fucking list. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And I got to figure out which version to pick too. No, that's great. Next Friday after that, folks, to finish the month out, but not close to the end of the month, we're actually going to be doing Andre's first pick, the Django Unchained, right? After Mac and Me. That'll be fun. I haven't seen that in a minute.
You're going to get a good movie after.
60-minute man actually knows some shit.
Yep. I was going to let him actually moderate that one, but then I realized that he's 60 minutes.
Andre, I don't go that way.
Yep. I considered having Andres moderate that one, but since he is 60-minute man, I figured he'd have to do it by himself at that point because nobody else would get to talk. So I mean, Andres, we'll discuss moderation another time, my friend.
Yeah. I'm not yet
No,
not
no,
there yet.
you're killing it on the panel,
Please,
baby.
no.
You're killing the
No.
panel.
Let's see.
Stick with what's working right for the moment. But either way, though, no, we're really excited. Me and Andres are. The MCU Bleeding Edge report is going to go on episode 8 strong. Hopefully, Cyber's feeling better now, so maybe he'll pop in and just say hello one night and give me some footage I can strip out and whatnot of him on saying hello and doing his thing, whatever. Adding a little pizzazz to the show.
I'm coming on and be like, hello.
Well, no, actually, Cyber, you know what's cool about the MCU's Bleeding Edge report is that we actually try to do it in like a 2-segment style. So, if we're covering, like, for instance, the Walking Dead spin-off series and whatnot, in the second segment, people can come on and just come on for like 30 or 45 minutes or whatnot. And we just cover Marvel or DCU news or whatever, whatnot, DC news. Maybe we're thinking about doing some comic book stuff. We're thinking about doing some re-reviews of like Loki, for instance, before the Loki season 2 comes out. We've got some ideas. But either way, we've got Ahsoka coming up on the 23rd, right? So mark your calendars. All right. Folks, I'm just saying all this shit and whatnot because I want to strip this out and whatnot and put this out as its own little shit. So just to be clear, I apologize for taking advantage of everybody, but that's part of the business, baby. But no, we are doing Ahsoka. Can't wait. Excited. Andres is super excited. He can't wait. Just wait till you get your teacher, Andres. You'll be pumped.
So Jeff has now become 60-minute man plus one.
Oh, stop. I'm done. So we're doing Ahsoka. It starts on the 23rd. At that point, basically it's on. I think it's 8 episodes. And then, of course, we got Loki coming in during that. So we're going to be crossing over. We'll be covering Loki at that point on Fridays and Ahsoka on Wednesdays at the same time. Because they do cross over. Yep, they do. Right around episode 4, I think, of Ahsoka, Loki starts.
Loki starts in October, I thought.
It does. And Ahsoka,
No, it's October 6th. That's when
Yep.
Loki's coming out.
yeah.
So I'm thinking Ahsoka, if it starts August 23rd.
Hold on.
I think you mean more like the end of Ahsoka, more.
Okay, and
more
yeah,
like
2 episodes. 2 episodes, I think. The last 2 episodes of Ahsoka. I looked it up earlier. I did. No, I think it's 2 episodes of Ahsoka will cross over. So at one point we'll be doing Loki and Ahsoka. Which Cyber, I'm surprised you and I didn't catch that one night. But either way, we got a lot of good shit to cover. Bottom line, that's how it is. And bottom line, thanks to Johnny Fuent for coming on with now. We appreciate you, Johnny. Let me go ahead and pull up everybody's plugs. And Cyberneticshark, I'll start with you, sir. Cyber, my friend, you of course are where are you at here, subscriber wise? Let's see. Since 86. Tell us, sir, what have you got going on these days? Have you been able to make any content when you've been sick?
No. I haven't put anything up since I was sick.
Yeah, I can see that.
I did put up a couple shorts in the last 2 days. So when my voice started coming back. As you can see, Blank Man, Breaking Away, The Beanie Bubble. I put those up while I was starting to mend. But yeah, you'll be seeing new content come up soon. You'll be seeing some more reviews, some more trailer reactions. Got to do a trailer reaction to Saw 10, which will be coming out September. Can't wait to see that. That's going to be amazing. Yeah. You'll be seeing a trailer reaction, of course, of a few other films coming out. I finally get I'll get my Barbie review up. I'll get my No Hard Feelings review up. Planning on hopefully to see Oppenheimer this weekend. So hopefully I'll have a review for you guys for that soon. Kraven the Hunter, I'm a little pissed about since they pushed it to middle of next year now.
Yeah.
Sony, I want to take my foot and shove it up your ass. Just FYI.
What was the reasoning for that now again?
I haven't heard any reasoning.
It's the ongoing actor strike. They don't know if
they didn't already have what would the actor strike have to do with it? Didn't they already make the film?
Yes, but the thing is, there's a obligation with if you're with the PTA, you cannot promote the film or do interviews or do those talk shows. You cannot do that during the strike.
Who cares?
So,
Sony doesn't have any money to promote shit to promote the movie anyway.
I mean, I'm happy that Craven is pushed away, but they thought
Why? It looks like you might be halfway.
He would that freaking
Andre,
pansy ass 60-minute talking motherfucker.
Why would you want to push that off? It actually looks pretty decent. Like, I mean, fuck, like, wouldn't it be better just to get it?
Yeah, but you know, well, there's two reasons they push it. Either it's because the actor strike, they want their actors to be out there promoting the film, or two, this movie sucks and it's gonna bomb, and so they're just waiting the.
I don't see how. I don't believe it. I guarantee you. I bet money right now. I'll bet money right now. I don't believe that Film sucks. It will not suck. It's better than Venom 2. It's better than Venom 2. Okay.
Better than Morbius. The other one.
It's better than Morbius. Yes, it'll be better than Morbius. It'll be probably the best Sony film other than the Spider-Man films that you'll have seen.
I love Morbius.
Yep. Yep. So there you go.
Well, I'm upset.
Nothing will change that.
Good. Whatever. No one cares about Morbius. I don't care.
Nobody cares about you.
I care about Morbius. I care about goddamn Morbius because I want to know what the fuck they're gonna do when they decide to finally do the Midnight Suns and shit and whatnot.
Who cares about Supergirl?
No, but seriously though, like I want to know what they're gonna do because like it pisses me off because if Jared Leto ruined that character, right? That means that they're not going to recast it or whatever, whatnot, and we're not even going to have a Morbius probably in the Midnight Suns or any of that shit. And I like Morbius.
You mean Sinister Six?
No, the Midnight Suns.
Nobody had a problem with his acting of Morbius. They just thought the film itself was a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I spoke wrong about that and whatnot. I shouldn't blame him. I'm just saying that like it sucks. I hate the idea that maybe the character got kind of like tarnished. I was at least hoping that they weren't going to cross him over, that they were going to cast someone else so that we had a Morbius in the MCU. I don't see why they couldn't do that. He's sort of integral. And no, Andres, the Midnight Suns is a separate deal. I know. It's a team of the occult type ones, like characters like Blade, Johnny Blaze, right?
See, the Morbius thing, it's a little weird because Marvel Studios don't own Morbius. Sony has the rights to Morbius. So of course. Yeah, so it's not gonna happen.
Through Spider-Man, because Morbius was introduced in Spider-Man comics.
Yeah, so it's not gonna happen. And the movie, it was like as Saber say, it was a clusterfuck. But Jello wasn't the worst thing. I think that was his decent performance. It was better than Joker, his Suicide Squad performance.
Compared to fucking Venom 2, it was like Avatar.
I loved his Joker.
Okay, all right. Let's get to my channel here very quickly. Hello, folks.
Go watch his channel. He doesn't know anything.
Well, F you, Saito.
Oh man,
I told you I don't go that way, bro.
Well, near the eye, so we're enemies now. Anyway, so
we're always enemies.
True. Yeah, I guess that's our relation now. Enemies. Anyway, folks. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, MCU Bleeding Edge folks, fans, everyone. Thank you so much for supporting me. Right now, currently, I'm at 793 subscribers. I just recently put my latest video here, a Iron Man GIFs video tribute. Yesterday, I put a birthday tribute to Superman himself, Dean Cain, from the TV show Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. It's a good show. Check it out. I think season 2 is their best. But yeah, and then tomorrow we'll post out a Star Trek Echoes Part 3. That's in the Star Trek motion picture timeline. So watch out for that for tomorrow. And yeah, thank you everyone for supporting me. Just continue subscribing the channel and hit that like button.
Yeah, if you don't subscribe, people, I will take you to Chinatown.
That's right. You don't want
Please.
to go to Chinatown, baby.
Yeah.
The food sucks and there's no massage parlors.
See? More massage parlors.
Andres, you don't get it, man. You don't have no idea how much talent you have to even be able to keep a trope going.
No.
I do sometimes, whatnot. Just let's pop it in real quick. It's a talent, baby. Anyways, folks, I'm sorry, I just noticed this. This is actually what She-Hulk used me the night that she hugged on me and whatnot. This was one of the tools that she used me on me and whatnot, and everything. I just happened to pick it up and whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? And I just
I've
wanted
seen
to show
the
you.
footage.
I
It's
wanted
not
to give you an
pretty.
idea, right? Listen, you don't want to fuck. There's a reason why in the comments they called her the fucking the Savage She-Hulk. Okay, well look, when you're busting this out on a motherfucker, right? Look, this is some savage shit when this goes up in you. You feel me? You ain't liking this. It ain't good. You ain't no all-star like Superman at that point. All right. And at the same time, though, it also can be used as a bong. So it is dual purposeful. There you go. There you go, folks. I'm sorry, brother. I know you. I don't know if you've been down by She-Hulk too, maybe, and that I didn't mean to bring up any PTSD. I'm sorry.
Folks, I want to know that She-Hulk is a fictional character. He thinks he was violated by this fictional character from the MCU continuity.
She could be real.
I know She-Hulk in
I
another dimension.
like Grogu better than She-Hulk.
Somehow Andres knows She-Hulk, and he just said she's not real. So
Yo.
tell me something there, Andres else, okay?
I'm telling you right
Imaginary
now,
friends?
Cyber, if they would make a movie with fucking Grogu and She-Hulk together as a team, that would be fucking intense. Can you imagine
And
that
Jar
shit?
Jar. And Jar Jar. I'd
No,
watch it in a
well,
heartbeat.
no, you wouldn't even need Jar Jar. Just Grogu and She-Hulk alone would be funny.
I would add Jar Jar.
That's too easy though. You could add Jar Jar to anything and it gets better. It's like funnier, right? I mean, seriously. Could you imagine if we could actually get Jar Jar in real life to come on the panel for one show? Holy fuck, that would be awesome.
I bet he would do it.
I'm telling you right now, Cyber, I won't lie to you. Once in a while, here and there, I have actually had a thought.
I'm gonna shout out Kevin Smith when we're getting ready to do Mallrats and see if him or Jay will come on while we're doing it.
You know what, Cyber? That's a great idea. I mean, you should do that, and I'll second it, and I'll go ahead and reach out to them too. I think you agree we should do that. You know what I'm saying? What we do, they probably love what we do. I never even thought about that. Either way, folks, look, I just wanted really quick, again, multi-purpose and whatnot. I'm going to dangle these out real quick and whatnot, and I'm also going to put them out here and whatnot so I can use them, right, when I go ahead and make some little advertisements here because, folks, this is just what I could grab real quick and whatnot so I can come back from the garage. There's another like 50 of them, all right? They're all $25 ones, not one of them. They're not fake, all right? They're not Chinese knockoff and shit, okay? Look, see, here, there you go. There's an up close on you, baby, right? This ain't no trailer park shit here. This ain't no fucking, Judy Chop shit here, okay? This is some real shit, real Skrilla for Amazon, right? And although I'll tell you right now, next time I do gift cards, I'm not doing Amazon. I'm picking something else. But either way, these gift cards are going to be involving a sort of process of raffling and doing some polling and doing some sort of giveaways and whatnot to where y'all are going to end up with some of these bitches, right? And buy some shit. If you just make sure that you get these two motherfuckers up to over 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It ain't complicated, right? So be prepared, right, for the details, but it ain't going to be, it's going to be very simple. All you're going to end up having to do is basically just when I start letting you know, when I make shorts and whatnot, and I put it out and post it up on all the social medias, I'll let everybody know which show that we've just done to go in the comment section, right? And simply just leave your email, right? And take a screenshot of you subscribing to one of these two long-term veteran content creators and YouTubers that deserve to be over 1,000 subs, right? At that point, I will raffle you, and you will get, whoever wins the raffle will get one of these cards, and they're $25. It's a pretty good deal. You can buy some good shit with that, right? You can buy at least 3 of those fucking pipes that She-Hulk used. That's good. There you go. You know? So there you go, folks. We want to make this happen. We got what? 4 months. Exactly 4 months to make this shit work and make this happen. So let's do it. Thank you guys. We love you. Have a absolutely wonderful rest of the week. Have a great weekend. Please decide to come in here and check us out on Braveheart on Friday and whatnot and enjoy it. And come see me on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific for Andor Season 1 Recap Part 2. And then come on Monday and listen to me and Andres squabble and fucking fight and shit and whatnot and argue over whoever bullshit we're covering. Till then, we'll see you later. Peace. We out.